Welcome to my Mountain Dew review of the Flamin' Hot Dew with a blast of heat and citrus. This is new because the original Flamin' Hot did not have citrus. We did try that one, and it just tasted like I had ran on a cold day for a few miles and my lungs felt like they were bleeding out of my mouth. That's how it made my lungs feel.
I like how you had 3 different attempts to start it, and every time you go, ah.
Part of the review.
Ba-boop boop. Ba-boop boop.
Surprisingly smooth. It kind of reminds me of Whiteout Mountain Dew.
Really?
Oh.
Almost like watered down though. So like maybe a little bit watered down Whiteout Mountain Dew with like a burning aftertaste in the back of my throat. I still don't think they've really got the idea down for the spicy drink.
I still don't think there is an idea behind a spicy drink.
There's like a type of beer. It's like a Mexican beer, and it's like a spicy tomato beer, and it's actually pretty good. I think the like additional mouthfeel of beer is better suited to this, where this is like very intentionally thinned out and just kind of like watery.
Watery and carbonated.
Not even that carbonated, just like watery and hurts my throat.
6 out of 10.
Yeah. Agreed. Even though you didn't have it.
Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to mess with the authors who write these fanfics. They make what we do possible. Thanks. Enjoy.
What's the worst Birdie Bots flavored bean you can think of?
You mean one that's not existing?
Yeah. It has to be a menu item from the fast food chain Long John Silver's.
I don't know. Fucking the combo box. You get the chicken and the shrimp. You get the chicken and the shrimp and the hush puppy. Fuck. You want to go to Long John Silver's so bad.
That doesn't sound that bad because you got like a whole meal.
Yeah, no, like we used to have one in town a long time ago, but I don't have enough memories of it to say whether or not it was good. I'm not really a seafood person in general, though if I would probably be the one that likes the fast food seafood over the real seafood, but it is what it is. Anyway, welcome to Crossing the Line, a fan fiction podcast where we read, review, and critique Long John Silver's menus for your listening pleasure. I'm George Jeeple. We've got Elias Viva Vlogs.
Hello.
And Stephen Blue Breed. I think I did a very good job keeping a deadpan tone that time. Stephen, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Godzilla.
Why?
Because it's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
What is everybody's experience with Godzilla?
Well, we just watched a few episodes of Godzilla the series on YouTube before recording this, which I'm going to say it is bad.
It's like the early 2000s animated series.
Yeah, it's based off of the Americanized Godzilla known to like most of the world as Zilla.
Or G-Man, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why they kept calling it. Well, that's why the rednecks called him Ziller in the show.
Ziller?
Ziller.
But also, Godzilla is a name that everybody in the world recognizes. He's a giant lizard, shoots fire. I've played some of the video games. I haven't ever really delved into the movies, though, but I think Godzilla's cool. But that's about it.
I've watched a couple of the movies, but I have no idea which ones they were.
I had a VHS of the English dub of the one where he fights a giant lobster, and that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then pretty much the rest is just all the monster madnesses that James Rolfe did on all the different monster flicks.
Yeah, seen some of those too.
You know, it's funny. I saw like there was like a Godzilla movie marathon on TV the other day, but I just avoided it. I was like, I don't really want to watch these because I don't know much about Godzilla, but I understand a lot of the movies are mainly like political aspects, and I'm not really here for that. But it is what it is. Some of the most popular things have that kind of thing. Gundam is a highly political driven series when most people only think of just action robot blowing each other up.
Right.
Giant monster stuff doesn't interest me in the same way that like giant sci-fi movies don't interest me in general.
But then you have G Gundam when that one kicks ass because it's just a martial arts tournament.
We should finish that instead of watching more Geo Breeders.
But I want to finish Geo Breeders. There's only like 6 episodes.
That's true. That one would be pretty fast to finish.
True.
And then we'll watch G. We'll have to start from the beginning because Steven hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off track. We're just talking about our social life now. But Godzilla, it's cool. He's a big man. He's got a GameCube game. That's pretty good. There's a Super Famicom game I want to get. It's like a fighting game.
Oh,
Just
cool.
Godzilla and all the guys.
Oh, the Super. Oh, yeah. That one's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find the like PS4 one very cheap by now if you wanted to play it.
That one I think is actually pretty rare.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
I think so.
Dang.
Dang. Steven,
Yeah.
read your story.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my phone.
Why not?
It's somewhere. I'll find it in time.
It's running amok in New York City. Godzilla stole it. That's the plot of the episode. Godzilla steals one of the main dude's cell phones.
I'll give that show some credit. I think it's cool that they actually animated Godzilla to be fucking fast. Because just because something's big doesn't mean it moves around like a damn mongoloid.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Like-
a good point.
Exactly. Like, that was the main thing I pointed out when we started the first episode that we watched earlier tonight was, there's a scene towards the end of the intro where he scurries around and up the Empire State Building like you would expect to see, like, a little lizard, like, crawl up a wall. And, like, that was really well done.
It is nice.
Mm.
I think there was like a certain amount of like I don't know, it either hits for you or it doesn't as far as like the big slow weighty stuff does. For me, it's just like this is slow. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
But in other contexts, I've seen like big stuff work. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my preference.
I get the purpose of it just because it does sort of sell how large it is with how slow something moves. Like that's something big you see in like a Power Ranger Super Sentai kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like when they need to look bigger so that way the heroes have a chance to actually like dodge out of the way and all that stuff. But then they get in their own giant mechs and then it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that Sentai giant hits work when it's like one big slash and then it explodes behind them. I feel like the timing on that really sells the weight of it.
Oh yeah. It's all about the art of it.
Oh yeah. And just one fun factoid before I begin reading. There was a Godzilla movie. People from Toho Animation and just the Godzilla fandom in general hated Zilla, the American Godzilla, so much that there is an episode of the Godzilla by Toho that has Zilla in it, and he gets killed off in like the first 10 minutes or some shit like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that like new show that came out?
No, it wasn't the weird one where the dude controls Zilla or whatever it's called.
That one does look weird. I don't care for that.
It was like not early 2000s, like mid 2000s one where it was originally supposed to be the end of Godzilla. But
Oh yeah.
Before you get started, tell me what you think of that. Read that to the audience.
about to make your taste buds your best buds. I like that.
It's on a Reese's Fast Break, everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Best candy bar in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to see if I won the contest.
Oh yeah, you got a big. Did you throw your ultimate peanut butter away?
Yeah.
Go get it.
I don't have my phone. I don't want to.
Go get your phone. It's in the trash next to your Reese's wrapper.
Okay.
I
And
don't.
then you're gonna get a cool Visa gift card with the Reese's logo on it.
Oh, true. I do want that.
Go get your Reese's. I don't have my phone.
Fuck off.
Fucking wonderful.
Oh, that's a good candy bar.
I have to go to Reese'sLovers.com.
This is the part of the episode with our Reese's ad break.
You, the viewer, have to go to Reese'sLovers.com now.
Go to Reese'sLovers.com, take a photo of their QR code on your purchased Reese's product.
They want my age. What do you need there?
You want my age.
They need to make sure you're a legal adult and a legal adult browsing the candy.
I can imagine Zilla doing a fucking ad for that where instead of the Empire State Building, it's just a vertical fucking fast break.
Yeah, he climbs up it, and King Ghidorah tries to take it from him, so he breathes atomic fire on him.
It reset my form.
It's stealing your data. The Hershey Company's out for blood.
It's gonna sign me up for a mailing list where I get like 1 cent off my next Reese's.
Oh, I gotta fill out the receipt on my Steak and Shake thing so I can get a free double steak burger.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's crazy. They just, like, every fast food restaurant will just give you free shit on the receipt. You just gotta do it.
Oh, yeah. Freaking one of my favorite things about the McDonald's app is just, like, you get points so easily with it.
Okay, Steven. Show the McDonald's app a little more, please.
Okay, anyway,
read off the script that they gave you.
Hello, here at McDonald's, we...
They wouldn't start with hello. Hello, we at McDonald's.
We at McDonald's care very much about your wallet, so here's a 20% off coupon on a daily basis. Also, we have spicy nuggets sometimes.
They're alright.
Yeah, they're decent, they're decent.
Where is my damn code?
They really did, clean up their menu when COVID hit, and they haven't done much to restore it to its former glory since then.
Yeah.
Taco Bell's finally got potato items back. That's nice.
Hell yeah.
I had that today.
The spicy potato soft taco.
I don't like that those nacho fries are only spicy if you get the ranch on them, because I hate ranch.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be like the white hot sauce or something, but it's just ranch with spiciness things in it. Nacho fries are good though. I really like their soft potato taco thing though. That's tasty.
True.
It's May. That means B-dubs should have the Blackberry Mountain Dew now.
Oh shit, perfect.
That means we can go.
Yeah, whose birthday is it next?
Why does everything have to be a birthday with you? Why can't you just see your friend?
Oh no!
I didn't win. Now they just have my information and they're gonna spam me with emails.
Shit. I just remember like last year we tried to get some special stuff from friggin' B-dubs and we went for someone's birthday and they were closed on the inside.
They were open on the outside.
Yeah, they were only like orders.
That's right.
I don't think it was for anyone's birthday.
We had to get a fucking Applebee's.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I didn't know it was Applebee's till I was like sat down.
That was really funny because there's a Chili's and an Applebee's right next to each other. So we say, okay, we'll go to Chili's. And they're like, there's like an hour wait. You guys good? And like, yeah, hold on. So we walk over to Applebee's. They're like, we can seat you in 5.
Yeah, next door.
No one wanted to go to fucking Applebee's. It is the most mediocre restaurant experience you could possibly imagine.
A Florida Applebee's, no less.
I'd much rather be at Denny's.
Yeah, there you go. I will say my ribs were okay.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with Applebee's, but it's just so unimpressive and uninteresting.
Yeah. It costs the same as a normal restaurant.
True.
Yeah, like, at that point, just go to an actual restaurant instead of Applebee's. Like, Chili's, I don't think is much better, but it is better than Applebee's. Their menu is much more extravagant.
True.
That story about the wait time should tell you all you need to know.
All right, now in true podcast fashion, we've wasted enough time, so we can officially start reading the story.
All right. Tokyo, the capital of Japan, a happy, peaceful city where the Japanese live and go on their usual blissful lives. Unless something really, really bad were to occur.
Oh, no.
Like what? What's gonna happen?
In a laboratory somewhere in the same city, a 20-year-old scientist...
For some reason I thought you were gonna say somewhere in the South.
Somewhere in the U.S. In a laboratory somewhere in the same city, a 20-year-old scientist was studying a million-year-old trilobite fossil as he picked up the ancient creature to look at it.
What a nerd.
Well, this is certainly astounding. A multi-legged creature that lives underwater is certainly a sight to behold.
True.
That's a crab, he remarked as he put the fossil down.
It is a crab or a lobster.
he remarked as he put the fossil down and began to write some notes on a nearby notebook. Meanwhile, the scientist's pet cat, who went by the name of Tom, was lounging peacefully in his cat bed without a care in the world, unaware that a certain little mouse named Jerry had snuck out of his mouse hole.
This is not where I was expecting it to go.
To forage for some food. As a small...
Nothing to do with Godzilla, it's just Japanese Tom and Jerry.
God, that would be so offensive.
Jerry already has the buck teeth.
Hey!
I'm sorry. As a small rodent explored the laboratory, which was massive to him, he found a fresh BLT belonging to the scientist on top of the workbench and, letting his hunger get the better of him, scurried towards it.
It always is some really, detailed food item. It's never just, a generic chicken or burger.
Right.
That poor scientist put so much care into creating the perfect BLT.
That poor scientist is burning so many calories. Climbing one of the legs of the workbench as if he were going up a rope dangling from the air. Once he was on the workbench, Jerry proudly rubbed his hands and licked his chops at the sandwich as he went underneath it and lifted it up over his head with little effort. However, since the platter holding the sandwich was hanging off a little bit from the edge of the workbench, it toppled and fell off from it to the floor, where it shattered, taking the mouse with it. What was that? The scientist pondered as he briefly stopped studying the fossil and glanced at the pint-sized animal trying to make off with his sandwich. As Jerry got up, he noticed the shocked scientist looking down at him and, putting on a guilty, toothy smile as he chuckled, lifted the sandwich over his head and darted off. My sandwich! That mouse is getting away with my sandwich! The scientist cried as he clenched his hands over his head.
This is so funny. You're just having fucking slapstick antics while Godzilla is somewhere in the universe.
While something's happening.
What's the terrible thing that's going to happen to all the Japanese citizens that Tom has dominoed into creation?
How do they tie into this kaiju?
Jerry's creating this terrible sequence of events.
Now, it occurred that Tom was still relaxing in his cat bed before he was suddenly jolted awake by a loud yell of, Tom! Coming from the scientist. Do something! Catch that mouse immediately! The scientist ordered, upon which Tom saluted like a military soldier and scrambled on the spot before he took off after Jerry. As Jerry was about to retreat into his house hole with the sandwich, he was stopped by something just as he was mere inches away from the hole. It wasn't long until Jerry stopped with realization and looked back to see his feline nemesis pinning down his tail with his index finger, prompting another sheepish grin and a giggle. Keeping a stern glare fixed at the mouse, Tom confiscated the sandwich with one hand and clenched Jerry in the other before walking back to the scientist. Good boy, Thomas. The scientist praised his cat as he rubbed his head and retrieved the sandwich. That pesky mouse is one heck of a pest, always scurrying around the lab while I work.
Let's Godzilla him.
Let's beat him to Godzilla. This fucking sand grain in his fingertips. As the scientist placed his sandwich on a new platter, Tom focused on Jerry with a sinister smile as the little rodent gulped worriedly, then flung him back into his hole and barricaded it with a plank and several nails to make sure they would never escape again.
So why?
Fucking throw an animal into your wall and nail the wall shut.
That's gonna stink so bad.
Yeah.
Best outcome is your wall stinks now.
Once he was done with that, Tom walked back to his cat bed, stretched, yawned, and settled back into relaxation. However, the negative events weren't done yet, because suddenly a news report popped up on the television, catching the attention of both Tom and the scientist.
How could this day get any worse?
Things were usually so good in Japan, but then there's this mouse, and now there's fucking...
Nothing could upset me more than the mouse getting away with my BLT. What's that outside?
We need a bigger wall to trap Godzilla behind.
throw Godzilla by the tail into a giant mouse hole.
Tom, go get him.
Tom salutes.
He puffs up his chest.
Tom was never seen again.
Oh no.
He's like the size of his toe, and he's looking up and tapping on him. All silent humor.
Attention, attention, citizens of Tokyo. We interrupt this program to report some breaking news. The news reporter started. The infamous giant monster known as Godzilla has just been spotted earlier at Tokyo Bay. We repeat, Godzilla has just been spotted earlier at Tokyo Bay. Stay inside and lock your doors and windows if there's a chance that he might come ashore. If he starts wrecking the city, run for your lives!
Oh.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, the scientist panicked. Godzilla's gonna attack Tokyo again. This is really bad. Tom felt the same thing too as he shook like a timid chihuahua. I gotta lock the doors and window in this laboratory and fast, said the scientist as he dashed out of the room and hastily did just that, while Tom just stayed and shuddered with terror at what might possibly occur next.
The story got very real all of a sudden. Tom is experiencing real fear.
Real cartoon fear.
They got a basement.
He's shuddering like a chihuahua.
Wonder how Jerry's doing.
He's running out of oxygen.
He's turning blue. A giant monster that might reduce Tokyo to rubble? Oh, the humanity. If that happened, then everyone will be rendered homeless. Or worse, dead.
Or worse. What could be worse than homelessness?
However, they were not the only ones who saw the horrible news on TV. Jerry, who had managed to climb up the inside of the wall and peek through an air vent above, had also witnessed the entire thing.
Oh, no.
And glancing at the terror-stricken pussycat that was Tom, Jerry suddenly got an idea to get back at him for foiling his attempt to steal the scientist's sandwich earlier.
He's gonna get Godzilla to beat him up.
So he jumped down from the vent, ran past behind Tom to avoid being caught again as he exited the room to work on something that will surely scare the fur out of the poor cat. Several hours later, inside another room in the laboratory, Jerry put the finishing touches on his new creation, a giant rubber suit in Godzilla's likeness.
Pardon?
Say Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry.
How giant could it be?
Rubbing his hands together proudly, Jerry scaled the suit and entered it through the mouth, and once he was inside, he tested it out by pulling two levers in front of him back and forth, causing the suit to walk as if it were a living creature.
This upsets me because with all the other crossovers Tom and Jerry's done, this could be fucking real.
Yeah. Happy that his creation was a success, Jerry then controlled the suit to walk out of the room and begin a session of terrorizing Tom. Back in the scientist's room, Tom was now sleeping in his cat bed, having somehow gotten over the whole Godzilla thing, when a loud...
What's he gonna do?
What's done is done. If it happens, it happens.
When a loud stomp in the hallway shook him awake. The puzzled cat looked around his surroundings when another stomp occurred and startled him, and by now he's starting to feel anxious, thinking that Godzilla may have come on land. As he trembled, a silhouette resembling the kaiju stomped into view behind the door window, enacting a gasp of shock from Tom as he glanced at it. No sooner the door was then kicked off its hinges and smashed against a wall to reveal the Godzilla suit, which then approached the frightened Tom as he backed away and let out a mighty roar in his face. But it was in fact actually Jerry playing a recording of Godzilla's roar on a portable sound recorder cranked up at full volume.
Jerry built a mech.
Yeah, it only took a couple hours, though.
Tom then shrieked with fear as he then ran past the suit and out the door, with it following behind as its stomps caused a mild earthquake.
I wonder how the scientists...
Pardon? A mild earthquake? I am so confused on the scale of this thing.
Jerry is so smart.
It's exactly the size of the door.
But it's strong enough to cause earthquakes.
It's just one of those inflatable dinosaur costumes that you look out the neck of.
Those are hilarious.
Running for his life from what appeared to be his greatest fear come true, Tom sprinted down the hallway and made his way into another room, slamming the door shut and hiding behind it as he panted wildly. After wiping the sweat off his head, Tom was then offered a glass of water from a familiar-looking arm, and he was about to accept it when he saw that it was the Godzilla suit looming over him menacingly. With another panic scream, Tom crashed through the door, leaving a perfect cutout of him in it. As the suit smashed through the door and left a hole in its likeness in it as well.
Broken 2 doors.
Running past a laboratory cart containing numerous chemicals, Tom took several steps back, noticed it, and decided to duck behind it in an attempt to avoid being spotted by Godzilla. Sure enough, the suit stomped down the hallway and looked around to detect Tom somewhere, with the latter covering his eyes anxiously as he did that. Fortunately for the cat, the suit failed to detect Tom and continued on its way, prompting a sigh of relief on Tom. But then he felt a tingling sensation in his nose and sneezed, catching the attention of the suit as it looked back to see Tom and pursued him down the hallway again. During the chase, Jerry brought in a spray can and sprayed it out of the suit's mouth to simulate Godzilla's atomic breath, which Tom hastily avoided as he was still running for his life.
Jesus Christ.
Just spraying aerosol.
This feels like a reskinned episode.
I know.
Right.
They're like hitting all the beats that a normal Tom and Jerry episode would.
It really is. Finally, Tom crashed through the locked front doors of the laboratory, leaving another Tom-shaped hole in them, with the suit likewise doing the same. The cat then stopped again near a streetlight to catch his breath and looked back to see Godzilla advancing towards him. And noticing the streetlight next to him, he decided to make an attempt to attack the monster by uprooting it, racing towards the suit and smashing it over it. Unfortunately, that proved to be ineffective, as all it did was leave a Godzilla-shaped bend in it. And noticing this...
That is a Tom and Jerry gag.
Jerry is so fucking powerful, my god.
He built this on a whim.
He's unstoppable.
The fucking waffle metal suit.
Fuck.
No, it's rubber. He noticed the suit looming over him. Tom discarded the streetlight and continued to flee as the suit once again lumbered towards him. The chase went on until Tom was forced to stop at a red traffic light to make way for some heavy and long traffic, leaving him cornered with no way to escape from Godzilla. Once more, the cat turned back to spot the suit gaining up on him. But since he's trapped, he is now left with the inevitable, accept his fate at the hands of the kaiju. Oh no! At this point, the suit was now mere inches from Tom, but just as it was about to come up close to him, a truck driver in the long line of traffic, who was munching on a banana, nonchalantly tossed the peel out of his truck and into the suit's path.
No.
Yes. The Japanese traffic.
Finally, I have time to reference the Alvin and the Chipmunks song Japanese Banana.
What?
It would be so very nice. Did you have to do that, Alvin?
They have a song called Japanese Banana?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. It's great.
It's hilarious. Alvin goes to Japan and he's immediately sick of it. He's like, I want a banana. And he's like, Alvin, they don't have bananas. They have cherry blossoms. Do you like cherry blossoms? As a matter of fact, I do.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me or not.
Alvin goes, no,
This
I want
sounds
a banana.
What is this from?
It's from Japanese, but I will show it to you after the podcast.
This is terrible.
Folks at home, look up Alvin and the Chipmunks Japanese banana.
It just seems so fake.
It's like, it's so meme worthy instantly. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like one of their older singles. It's hilarious. Anyway, he tossed the peel out of his truck and into the suit's path. The moment it stepped on the peel, it slipped up high into the air as Tom watched in awe before it crashed back into the pavement and got destroyed. Instead of being happy that the suit is no longer making his life a living hell, Tom became suspicious.
What a way with words this author has.
Became suspicious as he approached the broken suit and inspected it. Suddenly, Jerry staggered out from the suit's mouth in a daze, and once he shook his head to regain his balance, the first thing he was greeted by was an angry Tom, who now came to the realization he was being tricked this entire time. Another guilty smile from the little mouse, and he was caught in the cat's paws. The latter gave him a frightening glare that would make even a Doberman Pinscher wet itself on the spot.
Tom better not get in the FNAF suit.
The spring-loaded suit.
Oh no! The spring-lock suit.
I love FNAF lore.
Same.
What's your favorite FNAF lore?
When Ennard enters Tom the cat and escapes. Suddenly, a massive earthquake shook the ground, starting both animals as a crowd of screaming, panicked citizens stampeded past them. One guy in the crowd even temporarily stopped to point at something behind them and yelled, "Run, it's Godzilla!" before he continued running for his life, and the others as Tom and Jerry observed them. Finally, once the crowd was gone, a giant reptilian foot stomped into view in front of the duo and crushed the destroyed suit.
No.
Oh no.
He really snuck up on him.
He fucking did.
Yeah.
They didn't hear...
Tom was being suspicious and he got distracted.
Oh, that's true. They were Tom seething with rage.
His head was red.
Prompting them to look up and see who it belonged to. It was a gargantuan dinosaur-esque monster covered from head to tail with scales resembling keloid scars. His skin was colored charcoal gray, and he had jagged stegosaurus-like plates running down his neck to his tail. He wasn't just any giant monster. He was none other than the real Godzilla. The news report that was seen by Tom and the scientist had unfortunately come true. The 100-feet-tall beast loomed down at the cat and mouse as he snarled and let out a loud, shrill, scary, and high-pitched roar that frightened them out of their wits. How are they gonna get out of this one? They're gonna talk.
I hate when they do that.
Now frightened, even more than he was before, Tom ran on the spot before taking off like a bullet as Godzilla started trudging forward, inadvertently leaving Jerry behind, who also started to scramble right where he was. It also took a moment for Tom to realize that he was missing something, so he ran back, grabbed Jerry, and ran off again before Godzilla put his foot down. Let's go, Tom. Redemption arc.
Godzilla's putting his foot down.
Cats are so fast.
Redemption arc. Jerry fucking drove him into insanity.
Fucking... God, what was it?
Tom did nothing wrong.
Tom did nothing wrong at all. He was just doing as he was told.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my orders, sir.
Execute Order 66 on that mouse.
Another chase that ensued as the giant mutated dinosaur pursued Tom and Jerry all throughout Tokyo, destroying buildings in his path and unsuccessfully attempting to fire his atomic breath at them. Finally, the cat and mouse retreated into the lab and into the same room where Tom's owner was working in to catch their breath, and on TV, another news report came on. We interrupt this program to report some horrible, horrible news. Godzilla is now attacking and destroying Tokyo. I repeat, Tokyo is now under attack by Godzilla. Now, I've said this once and I'll say it again. Run for your lives! He frantically added as he ran away to avoid being stomped by Godzilla's foot. Oh, what a catastrophe, a familiar voice chimed in, catching the attention of the cat and mouse duo. Godzilla's actually out there, and he's making Tokyo to a wasteland. If we don't stop him in time, we're all doomed. The voice turned out to be coming from the scientist from before, who is now clearly distressed at the current disaster going on. Tom and Jerry could see the anxiety racing through his body like a swarm of wasps, and feeling was mutual since they were both afraid of losing their home, or worse, their lives, to the irradiated menace that is Godzilla.
That again.
Real fear in these fucking 30s characters. Letting Jerry sit on his shoulder, Tom walked up to the scientist, who said, Tom, how are we ever gonna put an end to Godzilla's reign of terror?
I don't know.
They're gonna build fucking Mecha Godzilla, I swear.
Asking Tom.
They're gonna build Mecha Tom.
Big Tom.
Mecha Tomzilla.
It's gonna be like Rusty and Big Guy, except it's fucking Tom and Jerry. Knowing that they now have to do something to defeat the giant reptile, Tom put his hand on his chin as he pondered for a moment. Then suddenly, like a bolt of lightning, it hit him. With a snap of his fingers, Tom whispered something into the scientist's ear, and soon the latter responded, Tom, you're a genius! That's a great idea! Wait right here, I'll be right back. And with that, the scientist ran out of the room to create something that will ultimately stop Godzilla.
Be right back. Gotta stop Godzilla.
After a few minutes, the scientist was finally done. He had brewed up a liquid that would scale whoever consumes it up to Godzilla's size.
Okay.
Here, Tom, drink this. It'll help you take on Godzilla. Why are you doing this to your cat?
Here, buddy, drink of this.
You've earned it.
Here.
Tom's like, what does it do? He's like, well,
just drink it.
Let's just say it'll help you take on Godzilla.
Oh, that's what it did. It make you really big. Maybe you should kill Godzilla, Tom, huh? The scientist said as Tom took the beaker containing it. He was about to drink it before he glanced at Jerry, who tried to prove that he can help his feline frenemy by tossing out a few punches. Taking a short glance at the beaker, Tom decided to feed the mouse half the growth liquid, and once he placed him on the floor, an earthquake occurred as Tom grew up to hundreds of feet. As the scientist and Tom watched in awe, the cat drank the rest of the liquid and had the same thing happen to him too. "Oh, that's awesome," the scientist exclaimed, as if he didn't know what it did.
Oh, sugoi!
Oh, sugoi! Looking up at both scaled up animals. Now get out there and show Godzilla who's boss. Now that they had to put aside their differences and that they were prepared to fight Godzilla, Tom and Jerry shook hands with each other to signify their teamwork and trudged off to take on the king of monsters.
shook hands.
Please,
Their
Toho.
paws.
Please, Toho, make a Godzilla versus Tom and Jerry.
Are you kidding me? Godzilla is super stingy with their properties. They would never let Tom and Jerry do battle.
Looking it up.
Meanwhile, Godzilla picked up an express train with his mouth and shook it side to side like a dog with a bone.
That would kill so many people so quickly.
Absolutely. He spat it out, where it burst into flames upon hitting the ground. He roared upwards into the sky, and a whistle off-screen caught his attention, so he turned his head to see it was the giant Tom crossing his arms with a determined scowl on his face, as the equally giant Jerry walked up next to him and did the same. As he was the type of monster that is not above putting up a fight with other giant creatures, Godzilla snarled and charged towards the cat and mouse, who did likewise and wrestled with him as they rolled over some buildings and destroyed them. Getting up, Godzilla and Tom then dished out a few punches at each other before the former swung his fist several times and punched the latter in the face so hard that he flew backwards into another set of buildings.
Jesus.
Now it was Jerry's turn. Sneaking up on the giant dinosaur, the mouse grabbed Godzilla's tail and slammed him on the ground back and forth, then swung him around like a merry-go-round before letting go, causing him to crash and slide into the pavement. Getting back up, Tom uprooted a utility pole, charged towards the recovering Godzilla, and attempted to shove it down his throat. Oh my god!
Just like Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah. The tree.
That would look so scary in the Hanna-Barbera art style.
That would.
Doink, 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 doink.
That gave me a bad thought. Godzilla versus Grape Ape.
That is a bad thought.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have admitted to that.
What? Look up Grape Ape YTP, everybody.
Don't! There's nothing of substance there.
There really isn't.
We're gonna have something else.
Yeah, what?
Grape Ape Godzilla.
Oh, no. Grapezilla.
The first result is Grape Ape a kaiju.
Oh, that's been a big meme debacle for a while now.
However, the giant lizard spat out the pole and fried Tom to a crisp with his atomic breath.
No.
Shaking off the soot, Tom charged at Godzilla again and put him in a headlock, causing the latter to struggle as he shot his atomic breath in all directions, some of which even hit a few buildings before he finally swung Tom off of him.
It's like when Will Smith put his dog in the headlock in I Am Legend.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, that scene was horrible.
Yeah. Tom feels just as bad.
He's crying as he's
National
choking
hero that
him
he
out.
fears and loves.
Fears and loves.
Next, Jerry broke off half a skyscraper and bashed Godzilla over the head with it several times before he destroyed it with his atomic breath and tripped Jerry with a swing of his tail. As Godzilla laughed at this. However, Tom got up on his feet, picked up his tail, and bit into it really hard.
No, ow.
This made the monster roar in pain as he leapt into the air in a cartoon fashion and landed face first back into the ground.
This is all of his limbs like shaking out as he's screaming.
Now really, really, really mad, Godzilla roared ferociously as he continued to fight his feline and rodent opponents.
Ronan.
Ronan.
Jerry with the big katana.
They fuse into Rodan.
Tom with the big straw hat.
With the big utility pole.
Big utility pole on his belt.
And this is where the battle got really intense. He struck Tom right in the gut with a drop kick.
Oh my god.
Oh, he did the funny one where he floats forward.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
Tom's eyes pop out of his head.
With the cat retaliating by burying his sharp claws from his hands and clawing at the kaiju's face like a typical angry cat would. Jerry then clenched his hands onto Godzilla's neck and strangled him before getting a face full of atomic breath.
That's such a thick neck.
Holy shit.
Godzilla's like all neck. Got no joints in there.
This is such like a weird hodgepodge of cartoony and too real.
I want to see this with Sakuga so bad. Oh my lord. Let's see here. The latter produced a giant... As Godzilla prepared to fry Tom with his atomic breath as well, the latter produced a giant mirror from behind his back and reflected it back to Godzilla, setting his rear end on fire as he screeched in agony.
He pulled a giant comedy mirror. It's like the size of a skyscraper.
It also got big when he drank the liquid.
He learned light beam from the fucking strawberry eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I my me. Strawberry eggs.
Once he extinguished his flaming behind, Godzilla was then whacked across the face by Tom holding the broken half of another skyscraper, with Jerry joining in as well. They continued to do this until Godzilla was beaten half to death and seemingly collapsed in defeat.
Jesus. If they had their same slapstick speed and abilities at that size, they would destroy Godzilla.
Yeah, they just took turns at him like...
I'm imagining the one scene where it's like Jerry, Tom, and the dog, where they're like hitting each other back and forth.
His name is Spike.
Spike.
Godzilla's like super slow.
Yeah, and
It's like boing,
Godzilla's
boing, boing.
not putting up a fight. He's just covering his head, laying down, and they're just beating into him.
His hands are too short to block.
Sobbing the Japanese anthem while they beat the shit out of him.
The credits are rolling.
There's a political message in there somewhere.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the line almost beaten half to death.
Yeah, again, it's like weirdly serious and real, but they're
Right.
doing such cartoony things to each other.
Yeah.
That's Godzilla for you.
Thinking that they've defeated Godzilla for good, Tom and Jerry exchanged a fist bump until they heard the giant lizard growling.
It's a good line.
Hell yeah. They heard the giant lizard growling as he was about to recover. Before he can do so, however, Jerry once again got a hold of his tail, swung him around, and tossed him right into the ocean with a gigantic splash. Emerging from the water, Godzilla looked at Tom and Jerry, who both pounded each of their fists as if to say, "Scram, you brute, never return."
Damn.
Actually terrified, Godzilla let out a scared growl and swam back into the ocean.
As he should.
I love that fucking statement. Actually scared. The expressionless rubber suit just has like wide eyes. Now that Godzilla has finally been defeated, the citizens of Tokyo rushed in and glance up at the gigantic cat and mouse that saved their lives, puzzled at the sight of two upscaled animals fighting a giant lizard. The scientist was among the many people in the crowd and praised Tom and Jerry. "I knew you could do it, you two. Tokyo is now safe. I'm so proud of you. Let's hear it for Tom and Jerry." And with that, the citizens cheered for the duo repeatedly, chanting,
Tom-san, Jerry-kun!
"Hell yeah, Tom and Jerry!" All while the two looked on proudly, glanced at each other and winked. Their perseverance in beating Godzilla had paid off in the end. But suddenly, an earthquake occurred as the citizens stopped cheering and felt the ground.
No.
Oh no. It was at this moment that the scientists almost forgot to mention, "Ah, wait, there's one thing I missed. The effects of the growth liquid wear off after several hours." As they heard that fact from the scientists, Tom and Jerry started to shrink in midair until they were back to their normal selves, and as they waved to the reader with pathetic looks on their faces, they plummeted towards the asphalt.
They were beating Godzilla's ass for several hours.
I guess
Yeah.
so, shit.
Just holding him down, punching into him for like 4 hours straight.
Jerry. I'm just imagining fucking Godzilla with like fucking choke bruises on his neck from a fucking cat.
The rubber's wrinkled.
Fortunately, the scientists ran up and caught them before they could make contact with the ground. "You did a really good job back there, guys," the scientists praised the two animals. "You did good." Turning to Jerry, he felt remorse for his attitude towards him earlier, now that he has helped with saving the town from Godzilla, and decided to make it up to him. "Oh, and you there. I'd like to apologize for how I acted earlier. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got just the place for you."
He's gonna give him a sandwich.
One day later, back in the lab, the scientist has adopted Jerry as a second pet and allowed him to live in a cage on top of the workbench. Let's go!
That's
Allowed him to
even
live in a
worse.
cage.
He's a lab rat, he's fucked.
He's allowed him to be trapped.
"I'm sure you'll like it here, Jerry. Welcome to your new home."
Bitch, this was my home.
I didn't need this. I miss my home. The scientist said to the mouse as he ate up half of the new BLT sandwich, Here, have this. The scientist handed the other half to Jerry, who split it in half as he whistled to Tom to catch his attention and tossed one half into his mouth. As Tom munched away on his half, Jerry did the same and winked to the viewer. The end. I liked that a lot.
I hate how in-depth fanfiction writers go into eating food. It's so, like, descriptive and strange. And it's just like, he ate the sandwich.
Right.
I rate that one gigantic BLT.
I rate that Tom begging for his life at a crosswalk in Shibuya out of 10.
The camera zooms out on the big boardwalk as he begs for his life.
Yeah, the big Shibuya crossing.
I rate that Tom's counter doing 2.4 times damage against his fucking atomic breath.
Burning Godzilla's actual ass off.
Actual fear.
I've got a short one, and also I have to read again later, so they should let me read.
Okay,
Go ahead.
We're already like 50 minutes in this one anyway, so short is fine.
Just find it, please. Fanfiction app. Hey readers, it's Bleep here with another trailer for another future fanfic story. For this one, it's a sequel to the one I already did. But keep in mind, this teaser trailer only shows the basic concept of the story in the future because I still need to finish Bleep before making the sequel. Anyway, let's get on with it. I don't own anything here.
Well, that's fucked up. They didn't even finish their first story, and they're already like prepping you for the second one.
It's a spin-off.
Right.
They said it's a sequel, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, well. In a different timeline of Earth, in a post-apocalyptic future, another version of Earth with a huge crater on one part of it is shown being zoomed in as the screen fades to black. Everything was at peace, and so were the remaining humans in whatever settlements they had. The screen fades to a scene of humans wearing animal hats in a largely settlement of going about their day, ignorant and happy, completely unaware of what's to come. Aside from the dangers of this world, it was a peaceful for the most part. The scene changes to show an oncoming storm in the distance that drew the humans' attention as the clouds came closer before the screen suddenly changed to black. That is until the demon of the galaxy arrived.
That could be anybody.
Oh no.
The screen suddenly shows scenes of humans running and screaming in terror as bolts of golden-colored lightning struck all around them, with 3 sets of an infamous crackling roar was heard in the background as the screen cuts to black. 1,000 years have passed.
Wow.
The screen fades to show a familiar treehouse with a yellow dog with a human sitting on a boat in one of the treehouse's branches. The human was wearing black shoes, white socks, blue shorts, a light blue t-shirt, a backpack that was dark green and light green, and a polar bear hat. They weren't really doing anything, just kicking back and relaxing.
My brain can't comprehend that much fashion.
My name's Finn the human. That's what I go by. The screen fades to show the many kingdoms of Ooh.
A polar bear hat?
I guess. It's just a white hat with little ears.
Yeah, just his hat. I guess they assume it's polar bear.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like an animal hat, but it's not really specific.
Mm.
My brother Jake the dog and I have been the heroes of Ooh for as long as I can remember. The screen then shows Finn looking through his family photos in a book. But in case you didn't know, I am the only human in Ooh. The screen then fades to black. At least, I thought I was human. The screen then shows Finn and Jake fighting a horde of monsters when suddenly, electricity begins to dance and spark all over Finn's right arm and he sent one of the bandits flying with an explosive, electrifying punch. Finn stared at his hand in shock. Whoa! Dude, since when could you do that? Jake said in shock and amazement as the electricity on Finn's arms fades away.
I like that John DiMaggio impression.
I only realized halfway through I had to do it.
Just think of Waka and you'll be good.
You're so right. I love doing Waka.
Waka's the funniest character, and the fact that it's John DiMaggio voicing him.
The fact that he gets with the goth queen after the story.
Yes. After he threw his dodgeball really far across the ocean to hit a damn fish.
It made her blush.
Yeah.
But ever since that one night in my dreams, my whole world has turned upside down. The screen shows Finn in a dark void of some kind as the camera pans around him. Suddenly, the ground shook, and Finn turned to see a large figure begin to lumber out of the shadows with 3 pairs of golden, glowing eyes.
Lumber.
What the? Does Godzilla have 3 eyes?
It's not Godzilla.
Sets of eyes? Okay. The scene cuts to black as 3 deep growling voices spoke in unison. Hello, son.
Oh, no. Whoa. His mom fucked Ghidorah.
Oh, shit.
Hello, son.
His own father.
His hot mom fucked King Ghidorah.
The next
Holy
line is
Ghidorah.
his own father. Stage is set for my people, yeah. Coming back like a sequel, yeah. So hot I am a fever, yeah. Like the white wolf, I'm gonna make you a believer, yeah. If you're my father, where have you been all this time? Hidden away from public view, I can't exactly go anywhere without causing a scene, you know. Hidden away from public view, I can't exactly go anywhere without causing a scene, you know. I'm running on straight diesel, yeah. Like I'm evil Knievel, yeah. Too fast, it's illegal. Call me an underdog, gonna make you a believer, yeah. Scene fades from black to show Finn lying on the couch with Jake. Dude, I just found out my dad is still alive. No way, really? Who is he? That wasn't really Waka, but nonetheless. Scene cuts back to the void with Finn and his father. No, you must never tell anyone that you're a Ghidorah halfling! His father shouted in a panic. Scene cuts back to Finn and Jake. Finn sighs. I can't tell you.
Fuck off,
What?
Finn.
Why not? Jake asked. I mean, Walker doesn't really sound like Jake now that I think about it.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's like an Islander.
Did you hear the news? I'm gonna be a daddy. I fucked a big titty goth chick.
She's like right there.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got around all my chastity belts.
My hundreds of chastity belts.
Every single belt around her body is part of her connection to the Lord, and Waka got through all of them.
She really didn't think Waka had the mental fortitude to undo them all. He proved her wrong.
It's like that episode of Dragon Ball Z where they trick Goku with the fucking puzzle keys, and he's like sitting there trapped in this little room, just like fiddling away trying to solve them as they go and find Dragon Balls.
Because he's a really dangerous top-tier villain that's made any enemies before I was born. Whoa, that's some heavy baggage, man, Jake said with sympathy. I don't ever want to look back. The future is blurry, but the past is a trap. Scene cuts to black, then fades to a scene where Finn, Jake, and Huntress Wizard are surrounded by assassins and bounty hunters. Seize the boy, for he's the son of the Golden Terror, said the leader. Jake and the Huntress Wizard looked to Finn in confusion. Bro, what are they talking about? Jake asked. Finn, what's going on here? Asked HW. The scene cuts to black. I might be staring at my last chance. It then fades away to show Finn with his eyes closed, until they snap open with an angry expression. His once blue eyes now an amber red. But I'm cold-blooded. A scene that shows Finn punching a bounty hunter in the face with his fist coated in electricity, and the punch sends the hunter flying into a tree trunk, the force causing the wood to splinter. 'Cause I'm cold-blooded. Finn is then seen getting dog-pulled until he blows them up away with a wave of lightning unleashed from his body. Ice in my veins, never gonna run. He then seen dropping from the sky, ready to slam the ground with his lightning-covered fist, Delson Rowe style. Venom on my fangs, fire on my tongue. He then makes contact to the ground, the force of the electricity sending lemon guards flying off their feet.
Oh, no.
I'm cold-blooded. It's all or nothing. Finn is then seen fighting Bandit Princess with a sword covered in electricity, his blue eyes and amber red as they blocked blades. If I go down, gonna burn with the sun. Won't quit now till I'm sitting on the throne. I tried hard to make that rhyme. A hurricane is then seen approaching the island at a rapid pace, the flash of lightning showing a shadowy dragon silhouette with 3 heads. I'm cold-blooded, coming soon. I'm cold-blooded, it's Finn's biggest trial yet. Ice in my veins, never gonna run. Lives are changed. Finn is seen staring at a sunset as he stands on a cliff. Venom in my fangs, fire on my tongue, friendships are tested, I'm cold-blooded. Finn is shown to be in the middle of an argument with Princess Bubblegum. It's all or nothing. I'm not some trained animal for you to call upon the moment you ring a bell, Bubblegum, Finn exclaimed in anger. If I go down, gonna burn with the sun. Finn is seen running in slow motion to the edge of a cliff as golden streaks of lightning light up the sky. Won't quit now till I'm sitting on the throne. Finn jumps, taking a swan dive. Electricity begins to cover his entire body as he dove towards the ground. But before he gets too close to the ground, a large explosion of lightning occurred. I'm cold-blooded. Seconds after the explosion, a large creature of some kind flew upwards towards the top of the mountain. The creature's massive figure shook the mountain as it landed on top of the mountain. My name is Finn. The creature stood tall as it took a deep breath. And I'm the son of King Ghidorah. The creature spread its massive wings as its 3 heads roared to the sky, the lightning with the clouds showing off its golden appearance, which is a giant 3-headed dragon. The song Cold-Blooded belongs to Zayd Wolf. I found the lyrics on Google. I don't own either of them, just to be clear. Okay, hopefully you guys like that little trailer I made for another future story I plan to make, but keep in mind, this is just a brief idea of what it's about, because things might change once I do the actual story. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself as you read the trailer of another one of my future stories. The end.
I love that idea of making a narratively driven TV commercial.
Right.
You have to do all these descriptors, but also you're trying to keep the beats of like an actual trailer.
Yeah.
God, that's cool.
I had to read it really fast so you even like understood what the author was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I rate that story a row L in the movie theater where it's like not the best seat in the house, but it'll do. Like you're kind of in the corner of the row too, so you're not like angled at the screen right. But it's fine. You're fine. You got popcorn. You're fine.
I rate that.
That was a horrible rating.
I rate that Ghidorah wearing sunglasses on all 3 heads, clapping Finn's mom.
I rate that the t-shirt that Marceline's always wearing with the parental advisory sticker on it.
Nice. Okay. We got one more, everybody.
Okey doke.
This one opens with a cool quote.
Oh shit.
Oh, I was thinking of Princess Bubblegum's pajama t-shirt. Never mind.
Oh.
The metal band t-shirt that she wears.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Is she cool?
I think Marceline wears it once as like a gay thing.
Oh yeah, Marceline gave it to her. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I remember I did a freaking picture of PB in that shirt.
It's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
It's iconic. It's in the Blue Breed lore. When we humans play with fire, we create monsters. When we fight and kill and slaughter our own, a beast is born. Those whose souls seek vengeance create something terrifying to punish us of sin. BAM! A huge explosion soared through Madison Square Garden as a couple hundred or so bombs blew it up.
Oh
no.
no.
In the flames, little infant Zilla screamed in pain as the fiery inferno killed their hungry souls up one by one.
No, Infant Zilla.
I just imagine the son of Godzilla from the movies.
I hope they all died, worm boy! Shouted an army official.
What?
Oh no!
Dr. Nick Tatopoulos looked at Major Hicks as he looked
That's the main
on.
character of the Godzilla series.
I hope so too. Now I think we humans won. Nick made sure by taking a look at almost all of the seen bodies. Audrey, up-and-coming reporter for WGBT, and Roach, a French spy trying to kill this Godzilla, joined him.
Roach.
French.
Why do they call him Worm Boy?
Because he's a scientist? I don't know.
They call him that in the show, too.
It's bad. I hope they all died, Worm Boy.
Holy shit.
I hope your friend died, Worm Boy.
I hope you die, Worm Boy.
I'm gonna die, Worm Boy.
Didn't one of the people call him College Boy?
Yeah, the one of the rednecks.
Oh, it's like bookworm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick, maybe we should leave now. They're dead, Audrey suggested. All of a sudden, a low rumble began to shake the garden. The three look around. Bam! Out from the garden came Godzilla, or better known, Zilla.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe colloquially.
It's too hard to say the full name, so they just have to shorten it to Zilla. Or G-Man, maybe.
They can't say God in the West.
True. Gosh, Zilla.
There you go.
Gosh, Zilla, that is just, that's the most underwhelming thing. Your city is in shambles. You look up and point. It's Gosh, Zilla.
I remember I loved the kids' book called Dogzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they had a King Cat, or Cat Kong.
Cat Kong.
They were just like real pictures of dogs and cats and with like in hellscape background.
Oh my god.
Because they were destroying cities. It was awesome. He roared and climbed out of the hole. He is alive? Nick was awed by this. Nick, Audrey, and Roach watch as Zilla stomped to one of its dead offspring.
Oh.
Roarg, Zilla called out as it tried to awaken its fallen baby. After it realized the horror of it dying, it looked at the three. Zilla...
It looked at Nick directly.
You did this.
With their half-closed eyes perpetually.
Yeah, they're all bored out of their damn mind. Zilla's eyes grew fiery red with anger and it bellowed out a war roar, for it was infuriated. Whoa! Guys, let's get out of here! They jump into a taxi and drive like mad right before they hailed a fucking cab and Godzilla's right around the corner.
Godzilla just watches them hail the cab and then slowly get in and talk and leave.
Godzilla gets in the cab.
Godzilla tails a cab.
Godzilla just walks behind them.
This is after him. Godzilla uses two cabs as roller skates.
He puts it on his head like a little hat.
You will answer for your crimes. Puts it on his head.
They jump into a taxi and drive like mad right before Zilla's jaw bites out the spot where they were. It follows them, even trying to use its hot explosive breath and fire breath, but to no avail. Zilla was lured out into the Brooklyn Bridge, where it became entangled in the wires. Nick, it worked! Yelled a troop soldier in an F-18 plane circling the bridge. The F-18 start pelleting the vulnerable Zilla and hit him in the sides. Zilla was defeated! As it roared its last roar, he fell right in front of Nick and, looking straight into Nick's eyes, it died. All was not well as below the surface. A menace was laughing, and an untouched egg hatched. 2001. King Ghidorah roars and flies over the surface of Tokyo Bay, trying to see if the menace was destroyed. Mothra just gave up her life for him, and he was not about to let him, the last of the guardian monsters, die. Suddenly, a high familiar roar was heard, and the king of monsters himself arose from the water and began to breathe his deadly spirit atomic breath. Godzilla roaring, he let loose the beam, which blasted King Ghidorah's right head, but did not seem to faze him. Godzilla looked at King Ghidorah, confused, but immediately roared deeply, looking at the oncoming assault by a dragon who needed help from a moth. He leered with his pure white eyes and started to charge another atomic ray when Ghidorah hit Godzilla with his claws, pushing the reptile back into the water. In an underwater assault, King Ghidorah clamped his 3 jaws on Godzilla and shocking the creature. Godzilla roared in pain but began physically dueling the guardian monster. A quick swipe of Godzilla's claw over the eyes of one head and a push and crack of the others, King Ghidorah's jaw became broken. Godzilla gurgled his roar and blasted Ghidorah out of the water.
Oh no.
Gurgly blast.
Just like that. The humans watching the land, including Yuri, were horrified when they saw Ghidorah pushed out of the water and now appeared to be dying.
Oh.
Godzilla emerged and roared evilly. Unfortunately for the king of monsters, something caught his attention. Ghidorah died, but he, along with Baragon and Mothra's spirits, were appearing and joined together. The spirits pushed Godzilla so far underwater, and the souls were too powerful. Godzilla sank and kept sinking.
Deep water.
"Godzilla's disappeared from the radar!" exclaimed a JSDF soldier. Everyone looked on, wondering, had Godzilla really just disappeared like that?
He just despawned.
No, it was far from that. As Yuri and her friend from work climbed from the destroyed Yokohama Bay Bridge, a huge wave surged up as Godzilla resurfaced angry. "Oh no!" shouted Yuri. Godzilla roared and staring dead straight at the two. Blue nuclear power glowed from his fins and his mouth surged with the power, but instead of coming out of the mouth, it shot out of a wound from the beast's neck. Painfully, Godzilla roared. After 2 more attempts, he fell in the water and blew up. Godzilla had been killed. Not long after, the disembodied heart sunk into the ocean continues to beat.
Oh my god.
Godzilla and his children are both dead.
That was just the prologue. Now the real story can start.
Oh lord.
So Godzilla's died in 2 different scenarios.
Yeah, goddamn.
That's fucking scary. His atomic breath just bursting through his neck hole, melting him.
Strange prologue to the Godzilla story.
Yeah, but it'll be worth it. Just you wait. New York City, 2007. A lot has happened in New York. The 1998 monster attack on the 2001 World Trade Center terror and the 2001 World Trade Center terrorist attacks shocked the world.
Somehow I knew they were going to mention that.
They're equally as devastating.
Yeah, it has to be canon in your story. Thank you.
Many people find it hard to accept the fact that we are at war, but the war on terror is not the worst kind of death.
All right.
We must praise the Lord for all that He has gifted with us.
Yes.
He has gifted us strength to continue thriving through economic poverty and the nuclear age. He will save us. Accept thy Lord as your Savior. Allow the purity of heaven to guide you, preached Reverend Adam Harris. Amen!
Reverend Adam Sandler.
Thank you, Reverend Admin Harris.
We must praise the Lord for all that He has gifted to us. Amen. Followed the attendance of Sunday morning church.
It didn't sound very enthusiastic.
All but one was into the Reverend's preachings that day.
Who was it?
She was sitting with her head propped up on her palms. Sigh, I wish it would end. I want to catch the Yankees game, yawned Maddie.
I was gonna guess a Totally Spies character. Well, that could still be. I think there's a Maddie in there.
Well, Maddie, we have to do church even if it seems boring, said Maddie's mother. We have to do it. But he just preaches the same thing over and over. Maddie whined silently while averting to a stained window. Maddie, that's disrespectful. He does so to remind us we should appreciate God's forgiveness and Jesus Christ's sacrifices, April explained. And what, Missy, are you staring at? She looked at the stained glass. Mommy, why is the huge water dragon fighting God? Maddie inquired. The stained glass portrayed a huge, long, and fierce dragon in a raging sea, clawing and biting against the glowing light.
Whoa, Godzilla Church.
Yo.
Maddie, that's the Leviathan. It's the Hebrew portrayal of the devil. It is also the sea monster of legend in Asian folklore.
Oh, it's just a synagogue.
They say that Satan or Lucifer go through forms of different religions, gives a shape or form of him, but it's superstition. The Lord is real.
That portrait on the wall is superstition.
In the
In
Lord's
your
house.
church?
That's just a game, but everything else, okay.
I'm a selective religious.
Mom, what's that VHS copy of Godzilla in the stained glass?
What's that VHS copy of Godzilla doing on the preacher's stand?
Why is the preacher dressed up like Godzilla?
A big rubber suit with the fucking reverend collar. Okay, Mommy, but I like that dragon. It looks like he is fighting to protect something. I wonder if it's true that Lucifer is evil. Maybe evil isn't bad, or good is the path. Maddie began to ponder for the rest of the Sunday service.
Maddie, go to grounded.
Maddie, go to grounded. Are you okay?
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of Maddie's mom, having heard her describe the stained glass.
Go to grounded. She caught herself real quick after yelling in the middle of mass.
Meanwhile, in parentheses, lol. It began to rain. My skin soaked. I hide in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment. I listen to the winds, ever so howling their solo. I dip into the water as my body squirms into the choppy waters of New York and heads toward the beat of life. I dive ever so deeper, the pressure's getting heavier as I scan for the source of power. A stormy night was upon the Atlantic as a fishing boat tried to make it through the rogue waves. The ship was called the Bingo Maru. The ship's captain was trying to steer the ship because not only was it full of precious fish, it had an important lab item that had been carried over from Japan to New York. By boat?
I mean, it's a long trip, but...
Mina! We have to get this ship back on course or we'll lose her, yelled Captain Juisho. Captain, it's hard to maintain. She weighs a lot because of the fish, she yelled, trying to operate the boat. The ship suddenly started rocking more violently. My crew, go against the wind! A siren yells as it senses a large object coming in. Captain, there's a huge obstacle coming straight in this direction. What? Hold steady then. What is it? The captain frantically yelled. It's a huge moving animal. It's moving left and right, the crew member yelled. Bam! The ship started rocking and got knocked badly. Water started leaking and a rumbling roar was heard. Captain! Suddenly, huge spiky spines ripped through the metal and popped out from under the walk floor. There's a helicopter looking for Godzilla outside. Screams were heard as the spines ripped and flesh off the crew. Jesus. Then teeth appeared. Long, sharp fangs crushed the ship even further. No, the precious Japanese lab item.
They had to get through the Suez Canal with that.
All of a sudden, the Bingo Maru was cracked and split in two and disappeared into the abyss, with thunderous roars heard. Now I have it, the thing I need most. Blood shall be spilt for awakening me.
The sea creature says that?
I guess. It's not attributed. Okay. Zilla Jr. looked up in the sun and roared his huge bellowing roar. He thought about his long spar with the giant bat the other day and curled up on the beach next to his father's warehouse.
Wait, is the Zilla in the animated series a Zilla Jr.?
I don't know.
Oh, the Zilla in the series? No, that one's the, So, in the Zilla movie, there's two Godzillas. There's a male one that they kill off, and then there's a female one who comes onto land and is, like, where the main part of the movie comes from, and then it lays eggs.
It has all the babies.
Yeah. So it's implied that the one in the series is either that female one, or is one of the eggs that hatched.
Okay.
So it could be a junior, but I don't know.
Ah, I wonder what Father is doing now. Him and the others sure are taking long today. As Junior decided to take a nap in the sun, Nick and Randy were talking inside about his worm project. They're filming a fucking porno in there.
He is a worm boy. He is a worm boy. He is a worm boy.
At last. Everyone point and laugh. Worm
boy, worm boy, worm boy. You know, my daddy taught me a few things too. Hey, Effie, are you ever going to give those worms to Godzilla? I bet you he loves worms, Randy asked cheekily.
What kind of question is that?
Hey, that's not funny. This is what I do, Randolph, Nick retorted, having heard Randy's joke.
It is kind of funny when you said it's not funny.
Besides, Godzilla only eats fish and meat. Yeah, and don't call me Randolph, Randy stated. You know that Godzilla could try eating us one day, said Monique, French secret agent who was still watching over Godzilla Jr. Monique, he is not eating us because Nick is his daddy, Randy said. That still does not disprove the fact that he is a radioactive monster, Elsie mentioned. She pushed a red bang out of her face. She pushed a big red button and killed Godzilla Jr.
She pushed the big red bang she was being offered out from her face. No thanks. I don't need a bang. I'm plenty energized right now.
If you want a real energy drink, get the Ghost Swedish Fish energy drink. That thing's tasty.
Hell yeah.
It tastes just like a Swedish fish. It's nuts. I don't know how they do it.
A big dehydrated Swedish fish.
It's fine.
Okay.
Sometimes I wonder how Godzilla can see Nicky as his father. This seemed to bend Nick a little. It was true. Can the big G tell that Nick does not look like him?
The big G.
Then again, I had his father scent all over me that night. But still, Nick thought. I hope you're not thinking of mistrusting the big guy here, Nick responded, prodding his chin in half-thought. If I can trust him, you guys can. Hey, I'm with you all the way, Nick, Randy said, smiling. How about you, Frenchie? He asked Monique.
Hello, Randy.
Frenchie.
Of course, because he has helped us for a long time now, Monique answered in her deep French accent.
Deep.
Hey, I'm with you. I was just saying, Elsie said. Time to feed a big lizard, buzzed in a robotic voice.
Is that their alarm to feed the Godzilla?
It's Nigel. Their yellow robot that barely shows up in the show for some reason.
You missed the scene where they were all just talking and Nigel bursted in and broke a bunch of boxes.
It's true. He just started wrecking the place for no fucking reason. Spurging out.
Is that what the dog does? It just comes in and breaks shit and leaves.
It's
Terrible
still a
robot.
work in progress.
They keep it around.
Hold on, Nigel, Mendel, the scientist of heat, called out. You forgot his tuna! Mendel put the bucket of fish in Nigel's black hooked hands and sent him out. Hey, Mendel, isn't that a huge bucket to carry for him? Asked Randy. No, you're forgetting he is a robot who's strong.
He likes to carry this stuff.
Mendel lectured. My ultimate creation, he muttered. He sounds like a psychopath.
He does.
Under his breath, watching him carry fish. My ultimate creation. As Nigel drove towards the sleeping Godzilla Jr., he woke up. Nice, lizard! Nigel tried soothing, but once the towering Zilla Jr. saw fish, he ran towards Nigel. He stuck his head into the big bucket and quickly ate all of the fish. Good, tasty, and delicious fish! Now get out of my face! Zilla Jr. roared, content, and swiped Nigel away,
That's
sending
what
him
Zilla Jr.
flying.
sounds like.
It's like inner monologue.
Okay.
So obviously he's a little boy.
He's a little boy. He's junior.
Ah! Nigel yelled as he flew from the beach to the trash and broke about in pieces. Ah! Nigel!
It's just like
My
that scene.
ultimate trash, Mendel yelled.
My ultimate trash.
Nick laughed, but he was still concerned about Godzilla.
As he does.
Well, that's the end! Author's note, I added the comical death of Nigel because it's funny.
Okay, 5 fucking stars for that one.
Godzilla was supposed to fight the Undertaker.
No!
Oh. I saw that one.
I'm so mad. We got so much Godzilla backstory, but the Undertaker didn't show up.
Nigel screamed like R2-D2.
Nigel screamed.
Gojira Tai Undertaker.
Oh,
In 2007, Nick and Zilla Jr. are fine in heat, but what happens when the Lord of Darkness makes a visit to New York, and what does Junior's father have to do with it? Read and find out Godzilla/WWE crossover.
I love the context is what happens when the Lord of Darkness, the Undertaker, visits New York.
I love that the only comment on the story of the guy's profile picture is like a picture of Sheamus from WWE.
yeah.
He's like shrouded in darkness.
That's so evil.
I know nothing about Godzilla, but this is great. Addicting. I wonder if Elsie and the others really trust Godzilla. Can't wait to see how Taker's gonna get in the story. That comment
Me
was
too, it's your...
That comment was in 2009.
No!
Shit.
I give that the rating of The Undertaker holding a giant kaiju in his arms for a pile driver.
Upside down, A pose.
Yeah.
He's like Godzilla's completely upside down, so the Undertaker's like holding him by his nostrils.
Yeah.
Holding the skyscraper tall lizard up so he can drop it and like 2 feet lower, killing him instantly.
He drags it by the tail to the top of the Empire State Building and then sets it up.
He gives it the fucking last ride. Slams him into hell.
A news anchor's like zoomed in on him as he's doing the cutthroat signal towards the fucking lizard.
Yeah, it's like a helicopter shot, and you can see him, it zooms in, and he's like rolling his eyes behind his
If I
head.
was Godzilla Jr., I'd be so scared.
He's getting up groggy and shit.
Remember that time in WWE when they made The Undertaker's tag team partner God?
Yeah.
And then God shot lightning at like Vince McMahon or whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's like a lightning bolt shoots out and this whole world goes black.
Oh my
It was
god.
so cool.
The intro is just a spotlight going down the ramp.
You're gonna be teaming up with God! Like, you can't book him, Vince! I don't care how much power you have in the WWE.
Undertaker just looks around and shrugs.
Okay. Every man has a price.
I rate that story, the many deaths of Godzilla that appear to be irrelevant.
What's the name of the robot again?
Nigel.
I rate that one Nigel pile driver.
Nigel Driver. Well, that's Godzilla, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Our next exciting episode is going to be about one of my favorites, totally, for real, that I remember. Shaolin Showdown.
Whoa! I love Shaolin Showdown.
Shaolin Showdown's cool. I've watched a couple episodes of it not too long ago with our friend Devin, and it still, like, holds up fairly well, I gotta say. It's a pretty well show. Clay is still that fucking boy. I can't wait to see if so many people write Clay as a cool Southern guy interacting with nonsense characters.
Hell yeah.
I think they should have maybe like had a different plot element that makes them have the Shaolin Showdown, besides having to grab the relic at the exact same time.
It is funny that because it's bound to happen every single time.
Yeah, it kind of like sets the stakes up in a certain way, but it's really fun.
It's a fun concept. It's interesting how they're like honor bound to work on the Shenggong Wu rules, where if you lose, then you have to give up your own Shenggong Wu as well as the one that they were fighting for. But whatever, it works. It works for as a monster of the week type show.
Yeah.
And then came the sequel series.
They brought in Ping Pong.
I hate Ping
Oh
Pong.
yeah, I hate that one.
They put in a character that looks exactly like Oni, except they named him Ping Pong, so they could be even more offensive.
And then they fucking made all the Shaolin Showdown CGI. Yeah, I watched like one episode of that, and that was the part that really pissed me off.
Okay, well next week when we record, we'll watch one episode of Shaolin Showdown and one episode of Shaolin Chronicles, and we'll compare and contrast.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. As always, we're on YouTube and Spotify and all these other musical platforms you can listen to podcasts to. We're on Twitter. All of our Twitters are down in the description below, wherever you're listening to this.
We're also doing a second series on opposite weeks right now on reading
My Immortal.
The Harry Potter fanfiction My Immortal. It's very funny and interesting. If you don't know anything about it, you should just listen to it. It's great.
It absolutely blows me away every single time we read like a single chapter of it. They just keep upping the ante. It's nuts.
It's also on YouTube and Spotify.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It's called The Immortal Cast.
And all that stuff, again, you can find it on our Twitter. And there's also a cool Discord you can join and hang out in where we do chill stuff there, have fun. It's a lot of fun. So, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!
As Grant gameplay is falling off.